video up and running. We're going to press play now. So we'll have the video on in the background while we commentate over it. This was 2016, just after I got my purple belt, and we were traveling with Professor. And I like that time, like this is me at my peak in terms of, I don't know if you remember, but like after I got my purple belt from Hickson, that, I don't know if there was an energy transfer or something. I felt like I was almost like on TRT, or I had this like full energy surge, adrenaline that every time I rolled for the next year, it was almost like I was on steroids or something. I was just like so.
I believe. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a transfer of energy or something. Whatever you believe in the woo. So I'll just press play now. So here we go. And this is you and me. I've got my one arm with a tennis ball strapped up, protecting my wrist. Yeah, start from the guard and put you into that triangle.
Mm-hmm.
You're defending well with that arm in. I could get the squeeze, but I couldn't get free the arms properly. So
just weasel my way out.
Yeah, you got out of that one. There was a few. This was a really, really good roll. I don't know how much you remember from it.
Not a lot. I remember us rolling. I remember enjoying having a great roll. Yeah, it was always like rolling like with someone who I know is like a very good friend, but their game's unfamiliar. That's the best, right? So there's no pressure, and it's pure just like learning, and you learn much faster. So you're wrestling someone like at a tournament, you don't learn a lot, like so much. Or if you're wrestling the same guy every day, it's different. But here's like two friends.
Yeah, here I'm trying to get the triangle again. Don't really want to get that. Don't really like using the gi over the head. It's just looks like they like usually if it gets too high, I'll pull it back down.
Should wear my gi properly.
I think it was sort of just there you go, get out. Yeah, I'm just trying to control the arms with my one and a half limbs there. But yeah, like you could see how much my legs are working compared to, because I've only got sort of 3 limbs out of 4 working properly.
I remember see how you're grabbing your leg. I just remember how you use your skeleton so well. So I felt like I wasn't wrestling your muscle. It's the same with if you wrestle Master Pedro or the family. Like you're always running into forearms and shins and knees, or you're being locked inside some kind of closed circuit. Like how you're grabbing your own leg. So it's your skeleton doing all the work, not your joints and not your muscles. Something that really impressed me.
This was I don't even know what I did there. It was a really cool sweep using but I had to use it's like a Rubik's Cube. I had to use all my body to sort of wrap around, use the leg to wrap around the arm and then change, adjust. But that was from that specific position with the arms on the ground. But I mean, not that I'm the best at it, but it's like trying to use the concepts of the invisible jiu-jitsu where it's like you can't always see what's happening, but you can feel it. I'm holding on to my own arm there because I've got a protective thing on my wrist there, so it's actually could use that. Like the old school WWF days where they used to have the cast on.
Yep.
And they used to come and hit people with the cast. So I put like foam padding on the outside so it
of course.
Try not to like hurt people. Here you get to my side control mount. And now I've got to get your hands on the floor so you're not in a position to punch me, but if you're in a position to punch me, you're in a position to cross-track me. So here to the upa, but I'm mindful of you reversing it, trying to hip escape away as well. everything I'm doing is sort of, it's like with most things, you can get like sort of 90% there, but it's just that last 10% is where the defense is, and that's where every good black belt can sort of defend at the last few percent. And back to the mount, I'm trying to put weight on your legs, stretch my legs out, trying to hold you down. I use that a lot with the stretching my legs out so you can't, to try to keep you down low and coming up high.
It's interesting. I changed how I do the mount a lot since then. That's one thing that's changed a lot in the mount. Even like with the gi now, I try and do like head and arm choke. I've stopped using the collar a lot.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have changed their mount since then in the last few years. I did the cross collar choke escape. I'm trying to work on the high mount here, and that was that roll.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun experience. I remember so I've done a couple of things in there that I've never done before, like that side control sweep. But that was like really enjoyable, and it's always good rolling with a black belt or like someone that's like better than you, that is smashing you, but at the same time like allowing you to move. And like being like you said, like friendly roll.
I think it's a good roll. Like if I look across the room, just in general, if I see people exchanging top and bottom, it's a good exchange. I'm not sure it's saying that's how a roll should look, but normally that means it's a good like back and forth, and we're both progressing.
Yeah, and that way you can you're exploring techniques and positions rather than and going from place to place rather than just being because at the end of the day, anyone can just hold anyone down in side control if they really want to, and they're like bigger, stronger. It's just that when they go to move to do something, that's when things open up. But if they don't want to open up and just sit there in side control, it's way different. We can watch another one if you want.
Whatever you want, I'm all yours.
This is one we did no gi the other day, and there's like we'll just start it now. It was like, this was a way different person. Like my hip, I can hardly move, so it's a bit more of a friendly and a bit more of an open roll. That's where the friendship comes in. Like you can tell that we're both being nice to each other.
Absolutely.
And that's.
But that's the art, right? Is like, because we both trained a long time, I believe we can be nice without wasting each other's time. Sometimes you can be nice and you just kind of flop around, but here we're moving, we get a sweat up by the end of the round, and I probably ended up in a bunch of positions like this kind of, I'm not sure we call this like a crossover hook, like I hadn't been caught in before, so in a while. So it's like making me think of things that I hadn't thought of if I'd wrestled anyone else in the room, you know.
Yeah, because I try to sort of double team as much as I can with that arm, and then was able to get to the back here. But you do really well to get out. So especially in no-gi, it's hard to get the controls.
Most of my time with my guys, like half the room's better than me. I spend most of my time in bad positions. So it's...
Well, that's where you learn the most. But like that's all my jiu-jitsu was like, especially like with the one-handed stuff or having it tied up in my belt. All that was learnt from. I had to learn the defenses of using the whole body as opposed to like relying on strength. And here, like I hook the arm there.
Yeah, this
was double
neat.
team the shoulder. Yeah. Just to try to get control of that arm. Because if the arm and shoulder, or if the shoulder's stuck, then you know where the other shoulder is, and it's like the head's in between.
Yeah, no, it was clever. Yeah.
And then come to the back and I'm not because of my hip. I'm not getting my hooks in properly on that right side. So that's why it's. Like, my back take wasn't as good. I think that was time, but we played.
We started halfway through the clock. Yeah.
We started second round. I think like, because I think that lesson you taught like
arm drag.
octopus arm drag to
Arm drag and
octopus
octopus,
guard,
yeah.
which I haven't really explored too much, but I sometimes find myself in that position, so that was a good class to attend. Yeah, just try to get control of that arm, switch the hips, but yeah, you were able to
It's
get
hard when you can't move your leg.
Yeah, it's hard.
hip,
Like you can't like try to drive the hip down, and like
this is the same as like our last roll.
Yeah.
8 years later or 10 years later, we're still doing the same thing.
I was like, oh, I got in that position again. Let's see if something can happen. It's like it's a bit different. It's like you figured out the defense after that.
Well, probably couldn't bring your leg as high as you'd like because of your hip. So
and there was a few things to that sweep. There was the arms and the legs and the holding the leg.
So one thing I'll see about here, in case people listening are interested, like, because what people call flow rolling, right? We're rolling, but we're flowing. And that was like, I never had a good way of explaining this to people until I did wrestling recently, Gary Jones on the Central Coast. So they do flow wrestling. And the idea is, in my mind, when I'm rolling, I can counter, but I can't resist, right? So especially on wrestling, someone much smaller than me, I can't just, like, if you're trying to grab my throat, I can't just block your hand. I've either got to accept that and deal with it, or move so you can't do it, if that makes sense. So I can't, that's one thing that helped me in my mind when I'm rolling with people. I'm trying to, not you because you're another professor, but like I'm rolling with my students, I can't resist, I can only counter. And that helps me and it helps them.
Yeah, it's like that's a way to learn to not use your strength. And
make your rolling productive.
Productive, and you get better at the technique.
The opposite is holding side control, like you said.
Rather than just hold it,
that's
if your muscles are all
you see some people like visibly shaking when they're rolling. I'm like, okay, there's a time for that, absolutely, like when you're just having one of those smash rounds. But if that's your default roll where you're shaking because you're using so much tension, it's probably you're not getting the most out of your training time. I sometimes physically shake, but that's because of my injuries. Right. I'm trying to hold something. But you're not like exerting yourself.
No, I'm not like trying to like
blow a gasket.
But I'm like, it's like just holding a basic thing. It's sometimes start shaking, but that's more the injury. Because I find myself like in these sort of positions a lot. Like so I'm trying to control the shoulder, but you could feel me possibly setting up an arm bar, so you're just like stopping all that. So I step over I do this a lot here where my left leg's going over your leg. I'm not sure if it's the best thing in the world to do, but I get my back taken a lot, and the guys either arm bar me or really they lock the body triangle on me. So if I step over that bottom leg, it makes it hard for me to lock the body triangle. It makes it harder for me to escape, but I really don't like getting body triangled. If you're going to escape into something worse, there's no point trying. Exactly. I mean, like, you try to learn and figure it out, but there's a lot of philosophy. But it's like that's why I like things like, roll out of screen again. But with the flow rolling, if you do like if you roll position to position and say, okay, one way to do it, no submissions, and or you can submit, but just each position you're only allowed to stay into 3 or 5 seconds. If you're there for longer than that, then you have to go to the next position or let the person get on top. That's a good way I've found. Like just in general, like here we're rolling just because we're unfamiliar and anything's going to be a good roll. But I think just in general, the biggest mistake people make is they roll without a goal. Like the more specific, the more advanced you get, the more specific your training needs to be. Am I working this submission or that position? Am I trying and keep metrics? Like if you want to be the best you can possibly be, you don't just throw yourself at the mat. You go, right, today I'm working out, today I'm working back this month. And you have your goals when you come to class. Correct. That's sort of what Danaher says. Have you met Chris Dirksen down in? No. He was a guy like at first. I hadn't trained him in 6 months. Ran into him, and his back control was unbelievable. I said, "What's the technique you're doing?" He goes, "It's not a technique. I just told myself I was going to get. I think it was 1,000 submissions from the back." And his back, and so I took a lot from that conversation. Well, that's where it's like you want to get good at defending, and put yourself in the position. And after 1,000 taps, you'll learn to defend. You reckon, like most of jiu-jitsu is recognizing the thing coming before it happens, and knowing it's coming, and having something to defend it, waiting for it.
And the problem with jiu-jitsu is there's so many new techniques. Like every week that I see something, say Craig Jones is going to teach us that I've never seen in my life. I'm like, I want to go practice that. But then I've dropped the other shiny toy. So when you have like a goal, like I'm going to get 100 submissions from the back, people like me with short attention spans need that, you know.
Yeah, and that was that roll. Oh, that wasn't too bad. That was a good flow roll there.
Yep.
We did one more, but we don't need to show that. So, did one more in the gi. So we did one gi and no gi, 10 years apart, nearly, or 8 years or something.
Awesome.
Apart. That was a very fun, and like rolling with your guys as well. They smashed me, but they were super gentle. Like, you know.
They smashed me too.
Yeah, they didn't like whip anything on, so it was all super nice. So I recommend if anyone's in the area, like your gym's a good gym. Like while it's still open, I'm not sure how long that'll be, but yeah, it's a good place to come and train. Good bunch of guys.